Hello, darling friends. We are back. Back. And it is another day. I almost dried my hair today and not did the little ponytail on top of my head. And I almost put on makeup today. I'm just kind of craving normalcy. Normally, I do wear makeup every day, even if I'm just in the studio, just because I've always loved makeup. But then I got out of the shower and thought, nah. So, live class info is up. A lot of you guys have already signed up. Thank you for that. Hello, cool cats and kittens. I wonder if she's going to trademark that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you haven't watched Tiger King. Hi, everyone. Okay, so live class info is up. I posted it in my group, on my personal page, and in my Art of Dina Wakely page, and it is on my blog. So if you go to dinawakely.com and then click on blog, and then scroll down to the first post, you will see it, okay? So that is the deal. A gal asked a question, how long will class be? I don't know. I mean, how long? It'll be, I estimate a couple of hours. I know the first time that Diane did it, it went on for 3 hours. Because, I'll give you guys, if you're working along with me, you don't have to work along with me in the class. But if you would like to, and I would assume most of you will, if you would like to work along with me, I'll pause and, we can chit-chat while you guys get caught up, if that makes sense. So I anticipate it being a little more like a regular class, except we're connected by the interwebs all over the world, right? So that is finally up. So remember, class is April 27th, which is a Monday, which is 10 a.m. Pacific. A lot of people will message me and say, what time is that in where I live? And I would have to Google that, so you guys can easily Google that, right? There's also a cool website called World Clock where you can put in my time zone. So I live in Arizona, so we do not change with daylight savings. So in the winter, we're the same time as Mountain Time, and in the summer, we're the same time as Pacific Time. Laura, it costs $1 million. I'm just kidding. Class is $15. It's really inexpensive. An in-person class with me is minimum $80 because I have to pay for shipping, hotel, flights, time away, on and on. So, it's just going to be a page. It's not going to be like crammed it down your throats anyway, it'll be fun. Okay. Carla, products needed are listed. They're on my website, and they're also on the group. But basically, if you have mixed media stuff, you shouldn't need to buy anything. Do you have a couple stamps? Yes. Do you have some stencils? Yes. I'm going to be using my collage tissue. If you don't have that, then, use what you got, or just watch and see if you really need it. I mean, just come, just come, right? It'll be good. So that is the scoop, beep poop. And then, so I'm going to wait a bunch of you guys to sign up. Then I'll do a mass invite to the group. The thing is the admin, I know Diane was quite overwhelmed with the admin, and Emmy's doing the admin for Diane. Well, until I get one of my boys up to speed and willing, then the admin person is me. Hey, Kelly from Ranger. So that means that I need to do the admin, and it'd be easier for me to do it in a batch. And then my husband's writing a software program to help me with that. So, but he's at his real work right now, his work. Anywho, and my son, who just graduated from college with a degree in computer science, my husband might even give him some assignments to help. So, yep, the class will be available later. If you cannot catch it live, you sign up by going to my website, dinawakely.com. Click on online classes. Then on the left, there'll be a menu, and it says click on Facebook, or it says Facebook Live class, and you can click on that. Okay. So it's super that my boys are not good cooks. So I'm happy to cook. I like cooking, actually. I just wish we all didn't have to eat quite so often. All right, did that answer questions? So class is 10 a.m. Pacific time on Monday. And again, if you can't catch it live, the video will save right in there. So just like if you can't watch one of these live demos, you can always watch the video later. The live demo for the class will remain in that group indefinitely. I will not be putting it on YouTube because you guys have paid for it. Okay? So, and be nice and share, and remember I got to make my car payment. So don't cheat me. Oh, it happens. You'd be surprised. Okay. Any other questions about that before we get going today? Welcome. I'm so glad to have all of you. As always, appreciate you guys. Always appreciate your support for Ranger and all the designers. And it's just a thrill to have you all along. So I went on an expedition in my studio. So I have decided that my studio, Julie, it's $15. I've decided that my studio is like an archeological dig. Okay. Carolyn asked the question, do you wash the foams? I do wash the foams. So I throw them in my paint water, and when I go rinse my brushes, I just wring them out and let them dry. So that you can definitely rinse them out. Just rinse them out. So my studio is an archeological dig. Sorry, I can't tell my story because I'm getting questions. Bess, any tips on removing the plastic from the spray bottles? Do you mean when the bottles are new? Is that what you mean, Bess? When they're brand new? I can show you what I do. And I do this for dilutions too, because I am remember I have low standards, and I'm not very particular. So when you get something that's shrink wrapped like this, it is kind of a pain to get it out, to get the plastic off, and you can kind of fight with it a little bit till you get that first little bit going, and then it comes easy. But here's how I do it. Okay, ready? And be wowed by my amazing technique. All right, so I open my skizzers up and I put them right in the neck, right where that gap is from the lid, where the lid and the bottle meet. And I press it so that I'm clicking the plastic, and I just twist it around. Okay, so now I've basically cut the plastic. Then I find I can twist that top bit off. See that? So that top bit is off, and now I can spray. And here's a confession. I don't remove the bottom plastic. I just don't remove it, which is why my bottles look a little jacked up. So for example, this one here still has the plastic on it. And if I wanted to, you can get your scissors under there and you can cut it off. But really, I just try to free the sprayer. And the reason why I did this is because back when I used to teach with a lot of Delusion sprays and I was constantly opening sprays, I mean, I would have, oh my gosh, hundreds of sprays to open. I figured that out years ago. So, but see, even that's coming off in shreds, and it's just not, my time, my time is not worth that. Anyway, and it's, no matter what, it's going to get, the way I use them, it's going to end up with crap all over the bottle anyway. So I just, like I said, I slice it, spin it, pick this top bit off, and then you're good to go, is how I do it. Much easier. Now I have another night open. Awesome. Perfect. All right. Can I, any other questions before I talk about the archaeological dig? I would love to answer them. I'm happy to. Happy to. It's my pleasure. You almost cut your fingertip off trying to get the bottom plastic off of the bottle. Yeah, I get that. I think I told you guys the story with those really big Tim Holtz scissors that I had to glue my fingers because I cut myself practically to the bone. Yeah, scissors are sharp. Okay, any other questions before I talk about the archaeological dig? Are we good? If you think of more, I'll let you know. Okay, Bess asked, can we prepare for the class on Facebook? No, that's so adorable. No, you don't need to. If you want to, I mean, always pre-stamp. If you, it's never a bad idea to have some of your favorite images stamped, but If you know, it's up to you. If you're a preparer, go for it. And at best, if you want to come prepare for me, that'd be amazing. Santa, missed the beginning. What is this class of? Oh, what is the class? You mean the class online? We're gonna do a journal page with that's interactive. It's an interactive art journal page, Dina style. Okay. Where's your blog on your page? So if you go to dinawakely.com, Laura, and then click on blog, and make sure you spell Wakely correct. dinawakely.com, and then click on blog. Elaine asks, do you ever use alcohol ink in your journals? And I do not. I think alcohol ink is awesome. Alcohol ink really looks best on non-porous surfaces. So that's why it looks amazing on Yupo. It looks amazing on glossy things or Tim's cardstocks that are made for that. It looks amazing on the hardboard panels. Whereas my journals are really full of a lot of very porous materials. Even on Gesso, it's still not really glossy enough for alcohol ink. I don't think. I mean, try it. It might. I personally think Gesso would make alcohol ink not very vibrant. So, and just regular Gesso, any Gesso you like to prepare pages. I mostly use white, but you can use the black, you can use the clear, whatever you feel like. Just because I do it one way, you guys certainly don't need to do it that way. Definitely, I can tell you what I do, and then you can go your own way. And that would be, that's how you get these fun little discoveries. I wash my brushes in the kitchen sink. Is that a drain problem? Probably. I do wash mine in a utility sink. Paint does stick to pipes eventually, so I'm just aware of that, but rinse them good. Should you pre-gesso a journal page for online class? Sure, if you want, but I mean, I'm not sure everyone's going to get that message before class, so if you would like to pre-gesso, great, but I will have gesso time in class as well. Remember that I will always, if you gesso something, you'll set it aside and do another task while your gesso dries. So it's not like I have you twiddling thumbs watching paint dry, right? Can you only pay with PayPal? Well, that's how my website is set up, is the Zen cart moves through PayPal, so I don't know how to do it any other way. If you don't have a PayPal account, you don't even have to have an account, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, for $15, I'm giving you some techniques and a journal page, and we're going to have tons of fun and community and make some interactive pieces on the page. I think it'll be great. I think it'll be super fun. One thing I definitely don't do is pour pouring medium down my sinks. I mean, I figure I rinse paint, I let it rush real good, but pouring medium, no. Yeah, PayPal checkout as a guest, exactly. You don't have to have a PayPal account to check out. It will work out okay. Some gal messaged me and said that she was struggling with PayPal. So yeah, I don't have any info about that. You don't need Zoom for the class. The class will be in its own special private Facebook group. Okay, that group will stay up. I looked up the number of groups you can have, and the number is 300. So my husband said, well, that's a class a week for 3 years or something like that, or 6 years. So listen, we don't need, I'm not going to do one a week. And the group will stay up as long as Facebook lets us keep it up. So indefinitely, I mean, the class will stay up. You'll always have access to it. I am proud of you, Victoria. Gessos and Netflixes. It's the best. What size journal? I'm going to just use my regular, probably the blue journal. So that's like a 8x10-ish journal. Betty, yes, the class will be archived in the group. It'll be under the video tab. Okay, so you'll always be able to view it. No shower and makeup required. So I'm going to use my standard size journal, especially because it fits in the shot the best. Okay, so whatever journal you have, get. I don't give you specific stamp sets to use. I don't believe in that, because a stamp set that I love might not be something you love. So if you like the stamps that you're going to use, if you like the stencils that you're going to use, it works out. Okay, it really does work out. And if you want what I'm using, what I end up using, that's great. And I usually use what's newest. So whatever's the last release or two is what I will use in the class. Okay. Any other questions about that, my friends? It'll be fun. It'll be longer than one of these live demos because I'm not really giving you guys time to work long in the demo. So, and we'll have a little more an end goal in mind, whereas sometimes the demos are just like crazy. 10 a.m. Pacific time, yes, that's in the morning. Correct. I think that's maybe 6 p.m. UK time. So then if you're on the continent, it might be 7 p.m. And I know we're missing out our Aussie friends. So if you're Aussie or on the outside of the world, you're just going to have to catch the replay. And I can definitely try to vary the times in the future as well. Yeah, you can always rewatch it. The group's going to stay open so you can all share your work. You can post work. You can interact with each other. You can ask questions. It'll be good. It'll be awesome. Linda, same time as these demos, at least for now. Do you find the blue water color paper takes more gesso? Yeah, a little bit. I don't worry about nooks and crannies a whole lot though. But I do gesso with a paintbrush in the blue journal. I just think a brush gets into the texture a little bit better. So my really big paintbrush is an awesome gesso brush. And it makes gessoing so much easier if you use a bigger brush. If the pages are quite smooth, you can trowel it on. So old gift cards and hotel keys and what else do you call it? Palette knives. Okay. All right. Is that good for questions? Keep them coming. I mean, I'll give more question time at the end. So if you ask a question and it goes on by and I don't see it, no worries. Just save it and then we'll do question time again at the end. That's the easiest for me. It's kind of a pain to go back after and rewatch, and I hate hearing myself. So yeah, that's just save them. I promise I will happily answer at the end. Okay, so back to the archaeological dig. So I went digging because I knew I wanted to do a couple things for this demo. Look what I found. Remember yesterday I couldn't find this? This was in the very bottom drawer of mine with the thread and the needles. So I have no idea why, but that's where I found it. So woohoo! I knew I had the stencil somewhere. So I found it. Yay. Don't need it today though. Well, maybe I'll use it just for kicks. And then I knew that I needed I wanted to demo cutting the media board with a cutter, which is not something I use regularly. And so I had to go hunting for my cutter, and I found it in the garage. Because I've moved some supplies that I don't use very often in the garage. So I found it. I also looked for the media board sample that I showed you guys back when I did the gloss spray video, when I did the staining of the media board. I can't find that sample, so that was a bust. And then the other thing that I really was looking for were these. These are Tim Holtz Ideology mini book rings, and I knew I had them somewhere because for a while I taught a project that everybody had to have these, and so he's always so generous and sends me things and lets me buy. Most of the time he gives them to me, or if I need a ridiculous quantity, he cuts me a deal. And I knew I had some. I looked out in the garage because I thought, why would I put them out here? I don't think I would, because I didn't find them. Dug through the studio. I finally found them. They were in their own special little container in my closet that I'd forgotten about. So I dug out the mini book rings. Then I texted Tim and asked him, are these still available? And he said they are. So these are fun to use with media board because they're just cuter and smaller and than regular book rings that you get from the office supply store, and they have cool patinas on them too. So I dug those out and I found I've got like 10 packages, so that I might need to go down that creative wormhole today. So let's talk about media board. Media board is one of those products that people don't get, and I understand. It just doesn't look like much in the package. I realize that. I use it actually a lot, and when it first came out, I would tell people, you know, you just use it like paper. It's just canvas that's glued to chipboard, and, you know, you can use it for paintings and book covers and all kinds of stuff. And, you know, people would be like, oh, all right. And then, you know, you get to the store and you look at these packages, and it really is hard to tell, or, you know, it's hard to envision what to do with it, really, I think. So comes in two iterations. This iteration is you get 3 boards that are 9x12. I will say this is probably my most used version of it, because you can cut this to any size you want. And then the other iteration that you can get 6 pre-cut boards. There are 2 3x3, 2 4x6, and 2 5x7. So this is nice if you don't have a way to cut it, or you don't want to cut it, or you have a project in mind. And I mean, this is just instant gratification, right? So these are handy. This surface is wonderful to pour on. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. There is a 20-minute pouring video. I think it's on Ranger's web channel somewhere, probably even on their website. You know, if you go to rangerinc.com, there's a tab that says videos. And so it's not too hard to find that. You might even be able to search for it on the Ranger website. Kelly might be able to chime in and help you with that. But I can do pouring again. But all right. So it is chipboard. So the back of the media board has a smooth kind of paper surface. Then it's got, you know, regular chipboard, and then this is canvas. It's kind of like the same stuff that sticky back canvas is, kind of, just it's glued down to the chipboard. Okay, so I have this giant cutter, and I know you guys have seen that cutter as I've given little studio tours in the past. It is a huge cutter. It's about, it makes a 24-inch cut with one of those big, like, woomph, school cutters. And when I first bought that cutter, I ordered it and thought, okay, this is going to fit right on the end of my desk. It's going to be perfect. Well, it arrived, and it was like the size of a raft. And it doesn't fit on my desk at all. It fits nowhere. In fact, I had it in the front room of our old house for a long time, and my husband was like, is that like our raft for the zombie apocalypse? Like, it is massive. So, but that thing cuts this stuff like butter, like one little whomp. So, and this cuts fast. So if I'm cutting class quantities of media board, I use that giant cutter. If I'm just cutting it for myself, then I use a Fiskars trimmer or scissors. So there was a question that said, can you use a 2-hole punch to make holes? You probably can. I don't have a 2-hole punch to try it though, so I have no idea. But anything that'll punch through, you know, thick stuff is great. Now the Fiskars type trimmers do work fine for cutting, but you just have to cut the board twice. Okay, so if I am cutting the board and I want to cut it in half, and it's 9x12. So I'm going to measure it. I'm going to slide the blade up and down, press hard, and then I'm going to flip it and measure it again in you know, close to the same spot. You know, Dina, I'm not ever going to be too exact. And then cut it again, and then easy peasy. So you just have to cut it twice. Okay. Now, in cutting it twice with the cutter, what I realized is that if you only cut it once, it's basically a score, which means you can make 3D things. So now this is a piece of that board, and I know that it's 12 inches. So if I come and just cut at 3-inch increments, look at me doing numbers. Ooh. So by only cutting one side, I basically scored it, which means now I can crack it, fold it on those scores, and now I have a box, right? And so, which I obviously didn't measure very well because it's not meeting up quite right, but you would need to take a nice strong tape, not washi, or sticky back canvas works really good, and you can cut a little strip here, either on the inside or the outside, and then you've closed your box. And I taught this project once where you get a cellophane bag, you fill it with candy, and you can put a little cellophane bag tied up cute in here. I think I decorated the box with Halloween. And yeah, so I'm not that good with 3D things. That really is Tim's specialty. He's so good. And Paula, and you know, I mean, does he not have just the best team ever? They're just outstanding. So but you know, and I'm not very architectural, but certainly I can make a box, right? It's not too hard. In fact, so then this makes a 3-inch top, so you could even put a top or a bottom on it if you felt like it. So that was a project that I taught for a while. Fun little 3D boxy thingy. So if you cut it once, it's a score. If you cut it twice, once on each side, it is a cut all the way through. So then you've got these pieces to play with. And then, you know, the bottom line is, like I say about everything, if you can do it on paper, you can do it on media board. So can you spray on it? Yes. Can you gesso on it? Hey, Kylene, I'm LDS too. I can gesso on it. I can, you know, draw on it. Stencil. Basically this, you know, think of this as paper, and then you'll be like, oh yeah. I mean, how would you start paper, right? Well, I might gesso. Now, remember back, if you haven't seen this, you're going to need to go back and watch it. When I, gosh, it was early on that we did the staining, right? So I don't know if Paula has her own YouTube channel or not. I don't know. I'm not the biggest YouTube person. I mean, I upload my videos there now, but I don't know, it's my ADD. I'm not great at watching videos. I get kind of bored. Okay, so I am going to add a thin layer of gesso on this one, and then I won't on this one, because just like paper, this is going to soak in differently to the unprimed surface versus the primed surface, which also means if I come back and take gesso or paint and put it through a stencil, hey, let's use the one I couldn't find yesterday. You'd be proud of me. I put some stuff away today. I mean, I think I almost felt like calling the demo off after that. Felt like I was very accomplished. Just kidding. So if you put gesso or paint through a stencil on the board, then you're gonna get a resist look, right? Because that fabric of the canvas is gonna soak up paint differently than a gessoed surface will. Paula and Tim and all the gals, Joy and all the other people that work with him, they're just so good at what they do. It's just always a treat to see their artwork, isn't it? So cool. All right. So now on this one, I'm not sure if you can see it, but I have done a gesso through the stencil so that can be a resist. All right. So this was, because the gesso went through so thinly, it's almost dry, even though I just now did it. So I'm gonna work on this one first while my gesso dries for a second. I'm going to use a wet brush. My brushes have been sitting in the water since yesterday, by the way. Of course they have, Dina. All right. So wet brush. I just know that the water's going to help the resist show up. So that's olive and peacock. And then it's going to show up like a cool resist. If you want that to be even brighter, you've got to get the paint off the top of the gesso, right? So if you want to give it a blot, you certainly can, or or just let it dry. It will keep getting the resist will keep getting stronger. The the drier it gets, right? But it just makes such a cool, pretty effect. Let's see. I'm even going to add a little spray over here in the corner. I'm gonna get that spray bubble that I love so much happening a little bit because the acrylic paint went down and did that first soak in, right? Can't waste that. Isn't that pretty? Oh, just love it. I love it. Remember, I just love everything. Cool. So that's super soggy. Let's see, has that ever stopped me before? Whoa. No, it has not. Oh, look what else I found in the Archeological Dig. So I saw this box in one of the drawers, and I was like, what is that? And I went to open it, and it is my class quantities of all of my masks that have been retired. Tons and tons of retired Dina Wakely Media masks and Ranger cones. So I was like, oh my gosh, how cool. So I won't demo with them because it'll just make you frustrated because you can't get them anymore. So that's just a reminder that when stencils, I think the butterflies are still available actually. When stencils, remember I said I couldn't find a butterfly mask? Look, there it is. When stencils are released, get them when you'll see them because eventually they are not there anymore, right? There might be some stores out there that still have old mask sets on their shelves. If you ever run across that, you need to grab them because they're not being made anymore. Okay, so this is sort of drying, getting a little closer. I'm taking a blending tool and some marine and stencil and adding a little bit of stenciling because stenciling helps pop. Purdy, purdy, purdy. All right. So that's a nice little foundation for beginning a little piece of art. And then, you know, people would say, well, what do you do with this? It's on board. Well, here's what I would do with it. If it turns out amazing, you run down to IKEA and you buy their inexpensive frames and you put it in one of their frames with the white border and the black frame. And then it seriously looks like this awesome little piece of art. Then you give it away as a gift or you put it on, you know, you hang it up in your own bathroom. And then, I'm just looking for a focal point image. I'm going to turn to the Collage Collective here. Another idea, I just got to stand up and grab it, so give me 1 second. Oh, I can reach it. Oops! I caught it, but I did drop something else. I'm not sure. Okay, it's got cat hair on it and dust. So this is a little frame that I bought. I must have bought it at Marshall's or TJ Maxx. Has a clip that looks like it was made by Tim. Tim used to, I don't know, he might still have these bulldog clips actually. But this is a cool frame because, yeah, I mean, you can, I'm sure it's made to put photos in, but it's really, really good for little pieces of artwork, right? And it was probably $7.99 at Marshall's or TJ Maxx. And so when you go look in the frame sections, I want you to think outside the box. You know, don't think, oh, I have to put a photograph in that. This is perfect for highlighting little pieces of art. And the fun thing about this is that you can switch it out. So when you decide you want something else, then, you know, like this was a tag that was in there. I probably had this tag on display at a show because I think I probably brought this frame to Gratification or something like that once. Because I'm always on the lookout for cool ways to display little pieces of art. And I don't know, it's fun. You could even give this as a gift to somebody and then give them a new little piece of artwork every month or every quarter or every year on their birthday. Or does it make sense? Like just super, super fun and cute idea. But isn't this the cutest frame? Seriously. It says 4x6 picture frame, but I have a collection of little doodads like this. And then Tim makes Okay, I'm gonna grab one more thing. Hold on. Oh, I don't know if I can do it. I might have to stand on my rolly chair. Hey, if I die, will somebody call 911? Oh. Okay. I didn't die. Oh. And yes, I did just stand on my rolly chair. All right, so this is a Tim product, and I don't know if this is still available. So that's a question for Tim, not me. But it was these cool little stands that you could get, right? And then this you could get separately, I believe. So then this was a painting that I had done, and then I put it inside the frame, and then I put the frame inside the doodad. I'm so smart with my English and my English degree and knowing words. You can barely tell that I have an English degree and that I actually do read books. Because don't tell Tim I called that a thingy ding. I'm always so embarrassed that I don't know the names of products. Okay, but how cool is that little frame with media board? You could even do a double-sided piece, right? And then this would obviously fit a much bigger piece as well if you wanted to do a larger piece. But then it's just so cool, isn't it? I just like it. I don't think 3D like this, so when Tim comes out with cool stuff like this, I'm like, I need those. I think I still have a couple of these unused in my closet too, because I have a little bin back there called Tim stuff that I've collected from him that I have intentions to use, but I need to pull stuff out because I mean, how cool is that? You could even do a little series, and because these are adjustable, you could do different heights. Isn't that cool? All right. I don't know if they're still available. So, yeah, somebody will have to tell us. But if it's not available, he might have something else that will work for that. Right? Okay, what was I doing? I was finding a focal point. Getting distracted. Attention deficit. Oh, squirrel. All right, let's find us a focal point. La 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 la. Hey, guess how many cans of Diet Coke I've had today already? And listen, don't send me a lecture about how Diet Coke will rob my brain. I know it will. I know. I know it's bad for me. I know. You don't need to stage an intervention. I've had a lot. Woke up at 6. The other thing that I've discovered and that I really, really love, I don't drink regular tea, but I do drink herbal tea. And I discovered a tea brand that has the best herbal tea I've ever tasted. And the tea brand is Tiesta. 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 And it's Tiesta tea. And their Maui mango herbal tea is so good. And then they have a blueberry tea. Okay, Fran, you shouldn't tell me that. Fran says, my doctor says not to worry about Diet Coke. There are much worse things. Oh man, that just can give me permission. But I really love that. I think I'm sort of dependent on it because my sleep has been so bad for so many years. And then, I'm not really a morning person. So then I wake up and then I've got to set up class and teach class. And, people have paid for, oh, the tea's so good, Kylene. It's a mango herbal. It's called Maui Mango. And I drink it iced. It's good hot too. But it's loose, so you have to have a way to brew loose tea. So, it has chunks of orange in it. It has chunks of mango in it. Like the fruit has dried fruit in it. Tiesta, Tiesta, Tiesta. So the Maui mango and the blueberry, I think it's blueberry sunrise or something like that, are the absolute best. You'll thank me. So I brew it really strong, put it on ice, and then sometimes I'll mix it with 1 can of LaCroix, coconut LaCroix. Oh, so good. All right, so tell me what you think, my friends. I did these tags the other day while I was chit-chatting with my friend Jen. So the tag looks okay on there. I think it's kind of big. I mean, it's covering up my glorious It's covering up my glorious background though. I think I like the size of the face the best. That's what I think. All right, so now I'm gonna dig through my piles and find my ultra thick. I tried, there's a peppermint one too from Tiesta, because I love peppermint, and it wasn't super great. It was like peppermint watermelon. It was okay, but it wasn't as good as the mango and the blueberry. Like, you know, when you drink it and you go, mmm. And anything that, you know, I can put in my body that's not Diet Coke would be a would be a good good alternative. Even fizz in general, even like fizz from LaCroix is not good for you. Did you guys know that? Fizz in general will leach calcium out of your bones. Anyway, I'm not a doctor, so don't quote me, but. All right, so I want this little, so this is burlap that I had sprayed over and I had stuck it to this tag, but now I think it needs to be right there. Okay, so I'm gonna, did I glue that? I did not. Tim Holt's Archeology adjustable easel structures seem to still be available. Awesome. All right. So there's my simple little media board piece. And I mean, it's just a nicer presentation really than a piece of paper. But I don't know, it's not as intimidating to work on as like a stretched canvas might be. So now that that is on there, see, look how cute. That's seriously adorable. Seriously. I wonder if Tim has something like this. Hey Tim, when you watch this video, can you make us these? Can you make them easier to get? Because, you know, you never know with TJ Maxx and Marshalls. It's not like they have it once and then they never have it again, right? I'm just laughing. There's so much cat hair on this frame. I mean, I had to jump to get this off my shelf. There's cat hair on it. We live in a furball. All right, but that gave you an idea, right? Okay, so let's go back to the gesso. This is the gesso one. I blabbed so long that now that gesso for sure is dry. So now I'm not going to get that resist look happening really. I'm going to get all the techniques that I can do. I'm going to get the same effect as if I've gessoed a piece of paper. Watch Tim come back and say, oh, I have something just like that. I always say I'm in such a bubble. I'll find out something's cool and I'll be like, oh, that's really cool. And Tim's like, it's been out for 3 years. I'm like, oh, I didn't know. It's good to get out of our bubbles once in a while. Okay, so now that I've got this wonderful gesso on here, I can treat this exactly like a piece of paper. All my techniques that are gesso dependent are gonna work fine. I'm gonna get a nice coating of acrylic on there. That was carnation and what else was it? Peacock. And I'm gonna cut open this sky. Some nice thick paint there. I think I just wiped so much paint on there, it's going to take a year to dry. Well, not really, but it's going to take a bit. So let me set that aside. Grab another piece. Cool. But you get the idea, right? That once gesso's on there, everything's fair game. Everything's fair game. Now, I think that the spray, so remember the spray will resist gesso just like the acrylic paint will, because spray is acrylic. So I really like to spray this with no acrylic, or excuse me, with no gesso first, usually. Remember that when we did this before, we learned that when you spray or pour spray, because that's what we were doing some pouring, it's going to soak in and give you like a line of demarcation, a stain. So wherever it hits first, it's going to soak in, and then everything else is not really going to soak in quite the same. And I can let this dry just like this. So I did this a lot more extensively before. But I like the way the spray soaks in and gives me these different effects. So that was lemon and magenta and turquoise. Got a lot of spray happening there, so of course you never waste it. These little itty bitty tags are really good for a focal point. So, you know, this plus a stamped image looks really good on a piece as a ready-made way to draw your eye. That's what I would say that's probably what I use these itty bitty ones for the most. La, 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 la. Gosh, I could do an entire package of them. Oh, can you use Tim's vignette boxes and add a clip? Yep, you certainly could. That's a great idea. Great idea. He used to have those bulldog clips in that exact patina, and he might still. I should have asked him that too. Any little clippy bits like that would look really, really cool. I'm in love with these 80s colors all over again. Kind of had a little departure from them for a while, and now I'm back to loving the 80s colors. They just make me so happy. So happy. And now that I've got one coat of gloss spray soaked into that raw canvas, now any other colors that I add are going to do the resist thing. Dang it. I'm just saying dang it because I don't have the lid on that one. I'll never learn, y'all. Okay, so you see how where it's soaked in the most, I'm getting the bubbles, the spray bubbles. I don't know why my kid is cheering. I don't know if you can hear him. Ay, ay, ay. So there's my cool gloss spray bubbly bits. We got a thingamading and a bubbly bit. Thingamading. So Tessa said she's seen the clips on scrapbook.com and he released adorable teeny tiny ones earlier this year. So definitely take a look at his product line because I bet you'll find lots of things that I'm not really even aware of that would be awesome to use for, you know, to mix with something like media board that has this, you know, it has relief. When I say relief, I don't mean, whew, that's a relief. I mean relief as in thick, has some thickness to it. All right, so I'm gonna grab my marine paint. I'm gonna do a little stenciling on this because I can. Now, it's still pretty wet, so remember when you stencil on something super wet, there is a high potential for bleed. And if it bleeds, it bleeds for now. So I'm kind of picking the driest areas. I've had a few emails from stores telling me that you guys are supporting them and buying what we demo with, and for that I thank you immensely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Right, now here's another advantage to media board. I'm just gonna blot it so that it's not quite so doopity goopity. Oh man, there's another good word from an English major. Doopity goopity. We got a thingamajing. But I can't even remember them now, so I have to write them down. All right, so another advantage to media board. If you're doing something that you know you're going to throw a lot of wet media on it, and you know that, like, let's say you had a piece of cardstock or paper, and if you throw that much wet stuff on it, it's going to buckle it or curl it. The media board prevents buckling because it's that canvas that is stuck to the chip. So it's given it strength and a scaffolding, a structure. Now let's say later I think, well, I really would, you know, don't want to use this on you know, as a piece of board. I wish this was more flexible. So like I demoed before, if you notice that you can pick, see that? I can pick the canvas right off the chipboard bit. Okay, so I'm going to pick it off. Now, if you're frugal, you can save this chipboard bit and use it for something. It's tiesta, not fiesta. Tiesta, T-I-E-S-T-A, tiesta. Rhymes with fiesta, but it has a T. I'm going to just spray the back for instant gratification. Let's see. I have to spray a lot because remember that first layer is going to soak in, and then you'll get stronger pigment. Okay, that's really wet now, Dina. Maybe not my brightest move ever. Oh well. All right, so now once you've picked that canvas off the chipboard bit, now you've got this flexible fabric. Okay, so this fabric is flexible, which means that you can sew it, you can die cut it, you can turn it into a book. So I'm going to decide that this is a book cover. There we go. Fold it in half. Ideally, you would wait for it to dry, but you know, you get the idea. I'm not afraid of the wet stuff. All right, let me measure. This is the one ruler I have that isn't covered in paint. I have another Tim Holtz ruler that's a little dirtier than this. Okay, so this is 3.5 by 5, which means I need some watercolor paper, or let's use craft. So 10, I'm gonna need 10 by 3.5, right? Right. Good thing I found my cutter. Wait, no, that's not what I need. I need 7 by 5. Good thing I thought about it for a second. All right, 7. No, it's called Maui Mango, I think, Marilyn. Oh, maybe it's Mango Dream. I don't know. I have to look it up. I mean, I can't stop and check right this second. But all right, so now I've made pages that I can fold that are the same size as the book. Actually, should have cut them just a tad smaller. Fix that in a second. All right. I'm going to do the Dina fix. I mean, I could throw them right back in that trimmer, but you know, or I can do the Dina way, which is just make them, just slice a tad off and not care if it's crooked. All of you OCD people, look away from the screen because that will make you cuckoo. All right. So now I've got pages, I've got a cover to put them in. Ooh, I love that they stick out. Yeah, you need to make them like 1/8 of an inch smaller on all the sides. I always forget that. Okay, and then I'm just going to do a pamphlet stitch. So I pulled out stuff to make a pamphlet stitch. And again, credit goes to Tim. Tim is always the star of my shows, isn't he? He's so awesome. All right, so this black thing is a Ranger product called a Rub It Scrub It, and it's bigger than this. This is a quarter of it, and it's like $5 or $6, and it's for cleaning stamps. I think it's still available. And anyway, I got this idea from Tim. You cut it into quarters, and then I use them in classes with really giant stick pins in order to punch holes in things. Because remember, if you punch holes on your craft sheets or stuff like that, you will damage your craft sheet. I also have a reel awl. Yeah, you can just staple it in if you have a long reach stapler. I have a reel awl. This one's comfortable. It's kind of thick. I have one of Tim's awls as well somewhere. But yeah, again, I would have to dig for that. And then I am going to sew these in with a pamphlet stitch. So, signature, everything lined up in the fold, put the fold down and punch 3 holes. 1, 2, of course I don't measure. Measuring would be logical. Now, and they're not even. Oops, oh well. So I am using polyester waxed cord, which is the same stuff you use to mend sails. Okay, you can use embroidery cotton, you can use baker's twine, You can use string, you can use ribbon, it doesn't matter because we're not doing official bookbinding here where it really matters that you use waxed linen thread. Waxed linen thread is the nice stuff for when you really sew, take the time and sew a really nice book. This is just a fun art book, so I'm not worried about any bad effects I might have from stretching or things like that, okay? So we, yep, you could use dental floss. Rub it, scrub it is only $3.99. Oh my gosh. It is the best. It is the best. Okay, so go down. So let me label these so that if you've done this before, you know, you can go get a drink. But okay, I'm going to label them A, B, and C. Okay, so you're going to go down through B. So I'm going through all the layers, through the cover, down through B, and I'm going to hold the tail with my thumb. Okay, so down through B, up through A. Sometimes I don't even poke holes. I just do it while I'm sewing it. Up through A. Okay. Back down through C. Make sure I line up with my cover. This cover is soggy. And then back up through B. So let me repeat that. I'm going to do it one more time with something else. So you're going to go down through B, up through A, down through C, and back up through B. So you're going to end up where you started. You're going to want the tails of your string to be on either side of the middle bar of string. Okay, then you're going to tie a square knot, or in the UK it's called a reef knot, which is right over left, left over right, or vice versa. I usually do left over right, right over left. Okay. Then you can trim that. If you do it facing this direction, then you'll have strings coming out, which you can leave long and then bead and tie other fibers to. Okay, so that's a pamphlet stitch in bookmaking. And now I've got my cool cover here that I did with the gloss spray on the media board, done in a fabric, you know, now it feels like fabric. And now I've got a great little book that I can keep and play and write notes in and all that stuff. And you can do more than 3 pages. I mean, it just depends on what you can sew through. And I mean, of course, it's possible to do more than one signature, but that's out of the scope of this demo today, right? Okay. I was going to make one more point. Oh, the fabric, because this canvas has been picked off the chipboard, it's really easy to sew, and you can also die cut it. Okay. Easy to die cut. All right, so the other thing I thought I would do is show you how I use the media board to make a necklace. So again, this is not my, this did not come out of my brain. So one time I was at Collins, which is a retailer group show. And I had to come up with a make and take, and I just was brain dead. I just could not think of anything. And Tim, within seriously 10 minutes, thought of this idea, messaged it to me, and that's what I made for the make and take, and it went really well. And then I did it for make and takes a few other places because it was just so dang fun. So I thought I would kind of show you what that was. I'm missing one of the things that he used, which were his little bulldog clips. We used those back when we did this. But we're going to get by without that. I'm going to come back and I'm going to cut this apart because I want to use this media board here. This is the box that I threw. Or that I scored. Okay. So I'm going to cut myself a 2-inch wide piece of media board. Okay. Then I'm gonna decorate it. Actually, let's take the one I already decorated. Oh, I put it in the frame. We can take this one. Because I don't want to start from scratch. Because lazy. Well, I want to value your time, to be honest. Oh, that was not the wisest move, because now I'm going to flip that over with wet paint inside. Notice it doesn't stop me, because, you know, if I got paint on my cutter, guess what? That can be wiped off. Do you people totally want to kill me at this point? All of you people that actually take care of your items and not trash them like I do? Boy. All right, so there's my piece. It's not actually too long. I'm gonna go ahead and slice it at an angle. Now it looks like a guillotine. Well, that's delightful. Let's not do that. Let's do that. Let's make it an arrow. There we go. Much better. Signature is a group of folded pages that are sewn into a book. All right, I could try to make that even or not. And I bet you know the answer. You can totally zhuzh this, decorate it, make it anything you want it to be. Spray it, stencil it, stamp it. I'm not going to stamp on the media board itself because that texture doesn't lend itself to detailed stamping. What I think I will do is turn to my tissue designs, find something to use there, really carefully tear it out. Let's just cut it down a bit so it fits. I love that it's sticking out. A lot of people will sometimes say to me, all those pages that are sticking out of your journal, are you going to ever trim those? Or, pieces of art that's sticking out? Or are you going to ever trim the, what do you call it, the little strings? And I'm always like, no. But what I would say to that is, if it's bugging you, then you should trim it. Right? All right. I should not have inked it with the archival ink first, because I know that ink is wet. And it's going to have a little bit longer of a drying time than I need it to be. So I'm going to glue the back of the tissue. Oops, see, there you go. I'm just giving her a shadow, giving her a 5 o'clock shadow. And there, I've got a little focal point happening there. See, I'm spreading that archival ink everywhere. So don't do as I say. Bye, Kelly. Oh my gosh, it's already 11. Oh, we're almost done. So I'm gonna, because I ended up really shadowing this face strongly because I had inked it a little too early, I'm going to fix that by painting the face a little bit. So this is just gesso. Zhuzh it a little bit here. Oh yeah. We're gonna do a cool artsy face. Looking for my white pen. So I'm gonna take a white paint pen, or maybe I'm not. Huh. Maybe this one started. There we go. I know I have one here that works. So now I'm putting whites in the whites of the eye. Maybe a little catch light in those pupils. Let's paint it with some funky colors. So I have done a demo in the past about painting faces and stuff like that, didn't I? Overpainting. We overpainted a magazine, but the process is exactly the same as when you're using a stamp versus a magazine. That makes sense. What size is that Posca pen? I don't know. I bought it at Diane's store. PC1MR pin. It's a pin type 0.7. I struggle with the pin type actually. I prefer the fine point ones, which have a more like a bullet shape with a point on it. I tend to ruin these pin ones more easily than I ruin the other kind. These are probably Diane's favorite. That's why her store stocks them, because you get a really good line with them. I just don't take I just have issues and I don't take care of things properly. So that's why I struggle with that one a little bit. if you take care of them and don't actually paint on anything wet or draw, you know, doodle on anything wet, it'll last you a long time. But, you know, do as I say, not as I do. When I go to dyes, right, and like I said, other stores, if they have Poscas, I give students a chance to buy them first, and then I buy the rest if I can, because I absolutely love them. All right, you could add a quote to this if you want an instant quote. If you want them snarky, I think both Di and Tim have some fun snarky ones. I have a set of tissue that has some funny quotes. Totally up to you. La, 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 la. Little artsy scribbles here and there. All right. I think I am gonna cut that off, even though I kind of like it hanging off, but it is disguising the shape of the pendant. So I do think it needs a quote. I was gonna skip it, but I think it needs one. So again, these little quote collage sets are available at your stores, and if they're not available, they can order them. And they will happily order them. Happily, happily. So I'm putting "Don't Be Tamed" on there. Don't be tamed. All right. Now what I'm going to do, what we did at the Make and Take with Tim is we used one of his really cool bulldog clips. And then you'd probably want to paint the back so it looks better than that. But we used a bulldog clip and just clipped it right there. I don't have any of those bulldog clips, but like I mentioned before, I found these in the Archeological Dig of my studio. So I'm going to grab one of these puppies. Perfect. And I even found my crocodile. See if I can remember how to use the dang thing. You might want to measure, but you know, I'm Dina, so I'm not going to measure it. If you do measure it though, it'll probably hang straighter. Right. So punch a hole, put your mini book ring through. This is nice too for attaching multiple pieces. So if you do a hanging of some sort, a 3D piece, you can, like I could punch another hole here and have a little butterfly or something hanging off the bottom, if that makes sense. And Tim gave us his ball chain stuff to use, which was really cool, which I have used all of. So I just have seam binding. Right, and you can make, I mean, you can do the finishing a little better than I demoed, but you get the idea, right? So, you know, think out of the box a little bit when it comes to your media board. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, in a frame, though frames are pretty awesome, but it's awesome as a pendant. It's awesome as a hanging. Well, I think I showed that piece ages ago that I can't find today, that I used these mini book rings to join a bunch of different sizes of board together, and then they made a cool little hanging art piece. Okay. All right. Question time. I'm going to pay attention to questions. Now's the time to ask them if you've got them. Yeah, I mean, even your little scraps of media board, because sometimes when you cut media board for a project, you do have bits left over depending on sizes. It's really, really good to use. If you're gonna come to the accordion book demo, we'll use media board again as a book cover. What's for dinner, Caroline? Today I'm making salsa. I'm craving chips and salsa so bad. So I'm doing chips and salsa. I'm doing my own homemade salsa, homemade guac, and chicken fajitas. It doesn't matter, Kathy. If you like it shiny, then use gloss medium. If you like it matte, then use matte. I always say the shiniest thing needs to be my face. So I tend to not use gloss medium very much. Are you going to make more collage collective books? I hope so. If you guys buy them, I'll make them. Yes, please. I'm really sorry to the lady that wondered why I was always giving everybody the pox, but I've got to give her the pox. I'm really sorry. And I have to say, I make really good salsa. I hope you guys like, if you bought the Tiesta tea on my recommendation, I hope you like it. Knitting hats for my cat. I should. I've been wanting to knit them a little hat or something just to torture them. I'm still working on that really big shawl I started. Just because I like it. Yeah, mobile with bells or, yeah, I mean, punch one more hole and then, I mean, I could look around here and, I mean, you could make something, you could make another smaller media piece to hang, or, you know how, my mother is so good at using fabric elements, and she loves those little charms. Little charms would be cool hanging off, or even a tassel. My salsa recipe, I just got it off Pinterest, but yeah, I'll happily link you guys to the salsa. It's super easy. I don't like cumin in a salsa. It calls for cumin, so I leave that out. But yeah, I'll post it. I found the recipe on Pinterest. Do you know what days you're going to do demos after this week? I was thinking Tuesday and Thursday. Is that all right? I like cumin, but in cooked things. I don't like it in raw. I don't like it in raw salsa. So I'm weird like that. And I love cilantro, and some people hate cilantro. So it's super fun. Any other questions? I would love it if you guys would. If you have media board, you probably haven't used it. So pull it out and then contact your local stores. They probably have it because people aren't sure what to do with it. So now you've got a couple of ideas, right? It's super fun stuff. It really, really is. If you also, I think Tim he used to make a ribbon that you could paint and dye. You could easily dye it with gloss spray or dilutions. Sometime could you show your video system? You know, I just use my phone. I can show you that right now. So I just use my cell phone. I have an iPhone 11 Pro Max because I thought I needed it, which I didn't, but whatever. So, and then I have a stand that I bought. And so the stand holds I'll show it to you. The stand holds my iPad. Okay, so this is the stand. So my phone clips here, in here, and then it is a stand here for the iPad, so that's how I can keep up. I can see the broadcast. Basically, I watch the broadcast on mute so that I really try to catch. There's just I try to catch your comments. So Shannon asked accordion book class. One of the demos scheduled for this week is I was just going to show you how to fold an accordion because that was a request. I know you guys probably know how to do it. How do you fix the focus from going in and out? It's just on auto, Janine, so it might drive you crazy. It probably does go in and out. I mean, there's not much I can do about that. Yeah, this is an Archon mount. Thank you. Is it Archon? Hold on. I don't know if it is. It might be. I bought it at CHA. Jill from Whimsadoodle ordered it for us. She bought them through her store, and I bought one from her. Diane has the same one, I think, or similar one. And then I just bought this, and it's to hold my cell phone when I'm working to keep it off my desk. Where do you get the iPad holder and camera holder? I hate to say this, but you can probably buy it on Amazon. Is it Archon? It might be. It was a company that had a booth at Gratification. I used to have a really big tripod behind my desk with a boom that came out. Amazon, cell phone holders on Amazon. Are you logged into the same page that you film live? Not sure I understand that question. Are you logged into the same page that you film live? Archon Mounts is the name of it, yeah. Just Google it. Don't mean to Google slap you, but Google it. Archon Mounts. Oh, are you logged in? So I understand your question now. So I open up Facebook on my iPad, and then I go to my group, and then on my phone, I start the live broadcast, and then on my group, it shows up. And then I turn the sound down, and I can watch it. Yeah. Oh, good. So you can buy it directly from Archon. That's wonderful. Yeah, I'm on the cell phone holder is Nulixy. I don't know, just Google cell phone holder and a bunch of them will come up, and I just bought one of them. Yeah, exactly, Marty. I do watch the same one that you guys watch. Want to start getting your paints and sprays, which first? I don't know. Yes, I would say paint, probably. Wes, is your new abstract class coming out soon? Yes. Still have to film the very last lesson and then do the editing. So I've been super sucky about doing that. I guess after I film my demos, I just don't want to film again later in the day. So, I need to be more disciplined. But next week for sure I should have a chance, because I'll have days that I'm not demoing, and that way maybe I can wrap my mind around it a little bit easier then, if that makes sense. She needs gold pox, by the way. Pamphlet stitch instructions repeat. So you do 3 holes, okay? 3 holes, and then you go down through B. Oh, sorry, yeah, I was gonna do this again. Then I changed my mind because we were running out of time. You go down through B, up through A, down through C, and back up through B, and then go ahead and tie a square knot around the middle bar. I guarantee if you Google pamphlet stitch, that different instructions will probably come up, even probably videos. So it's called the pamphlet stitch. I didn't make it up. It's a standard bookbinding stitch. So definitely Google that if that instructions wasn't very helpful, for sure. Okay, my friends, so good to have you. We've gone over time a little bit, but I appreciate you joining me, and we will see you tomorrow. I can't remember what we're doing tomorrow. I have to look at the schedule. But we shall see you tomorrow. And I hope this gave you some ideas. Bye, everybody.